5 months is like an appropriate amount of time for me to actually do something.
Yeah, that it should be quicker.
From experience.
Gabrielle, you want me to send it out?
Sure.
Okay. I'll do a little quick search.
Thank you to Gabrielle for advertising the 2 events this week.
Oh, of course.
We had a
sound-
really great
oh.
turnout at the community dance day.
Dang it, I missed
It
that. I was going to put that. Oh my
It was great.
It was good. It was
I
really
keep
good.
forgetting to put these things on my calendar. Oh my.
We're hoping to have another one at some point.
What time is the storytelling group again?
That one is
Like is it the same every Thursday?
every Thursday from 6 to 7:30.
I don't know. Well, I'll come to at least 1 week of that.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things.
I just really am curious, but
It's one of those things you don't have to go to all of them to like, make a difference.
Make a podcast out of it.
That's true.
Oh, that would be cool.
I love all my favorite podcasts are like the storytelling ones from NPR. So I think that'd be This American Life, Snap Judgment, Moth Radio, those kind of things. I love listening to
every
stories.
Sunday, I would be driving to like some practice or another, and it'd be like my dad or mom would.
Yeah, exactly.
I just got a text from Dan Ellison. He said he's going to go to the Hoof and Horn exec meeting right now, and they're talking about their sensory-friendly performances. So
okay.
we'll get the details on it.
Oh yeah, because don't they have a show coming up?
Yeah,
Yes.
Are you interested in theater stuff?
No, but one of my friends did it.
Oh, cool.
I'm so
That's
not
awesome.
in tune with the arts. I appreciate them, but I'm just like so out of tune with anything on campus. I didn't even realize that Duke Swing's auditions, spring auditions were today until yesterday night. I'm like, I should know this.
All right, we're live, by the way.
Hello.
Just in case people were still unfiltered. Accent.
After 3 years, I'm not gonna ever filter. Maddie's just got back in order to deal with this bullshit.
So today's agenda is pretty simple. I think Disability Pride Week, really want to go over those things, and then I have a few things from. Well, I guess we can include it in the task force updates, but I guess which one do you guys want to start with? Task forces. Introductions.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that.
I always forget. So I guess I'll start. I'm Simon, president of DDA, and let's see. My favorite fruit
Favorite fruit?
on ice cream is strawberries.
You animal.
What?
No, I'm joking.
Strawberries and ice cream is like the best thing.
Strawberry ice cream is a great thing.
Well, then you put it.
Yeah, I'm Maddie, and my favorite fruit on ice cream is mangoes.
Oh, that's good.
I'm Gabby. My favorite fruit on ice cream, more like frozen yogurt, but I really like coconut flakes.
Oh,
Good.
Oh, damn.
see, it's so revealing, you know.
Yeah, I'm just like,
of the person.
yo, coconut's a fruit. No. We're nutting it.
I'm Gabrielle, and my favorite fruit on ice creams probably blueberry.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Marion. I don't usually have fruit on my ice cream, but if I had to pick, I guess I'd go with raspberries.
It's so diverse so far.
I'm Cookies, and fruit on ice cream, pineapple for sure.
I'm Trent. Fruit on ice cream. Strawberry with vanilla or mango. Coconut and coconut on chocolate. Yeah.
So tailored to the ice cream flavor.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Bananas on chocolate as well.
Gabrielle, I'm also sharing a doc.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I've typed up nothing today, but
Did you have another document created?
I'm going to create. Or do you already have one?
There's one under the general body meeting agendas folder.
Oh, never mind. Or is that for today?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, anyways, task forces. So, we sent out both surveys again for the curriculum task force, of course, which I think you have some updates for that too.
Yeah.
Dr. Q, and also, so for the maps task force, we sent out that survey. We kind of we just tweaked it a little bit for
Yep.
accessibility purposes.
And today, Jay was just sharing that, it with the group on Slack.
Oh, okay.
So we're still waiting for a response about it. But yeah, that's about it.
So I guess we should just advertise that, and
We could share it. We can share it more, but I have yet to go.
Map survey?
yeah, the map survey.
Yeah.
For-
New
It's super
Qualtrics
short.
version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jay, Jay just
you
shared it
can-
on Slack right now with the rest of the accessibility map task force. Well, the other people that aren't part of DDA but are still working on the project. So once we get some sort of feedback on it, then we'll retweak it if we need to, and then just share it out. But I really don't think it needs to be tweaked.
Okay.
But of course, I can always miss things just from my own analysis of it. So that's why we need everyone else to give in their
Right. I
2
mean,
cents.
the web guru. I love saying that.
Web group.
The web guru really had some you things you wouldn't expect just typically put on a survey.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's
So that's it right now.
So, yeah.
Just
Okay.
waiting for people to wake up from being hungover and then checking out that Slack.
it's fair. Okay, and I guess after that, y'all
That's about it.
choose
right
choose locations. and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay. The culture center, I think the super short. It's just we've emailed Mary Pat and her team, Chris and Richen.
Yep.
And we haven't gotten a response yet. So
Yeah, it's been a week. I wonder if we should.
I think we should follow up today, probably. I think
Yeah,
it's
maybe it's
reasonable.
about the language we use. Maybe it's sort of a gentler, like rather than trying to get a meeting, just asking what they've done
Okay.
to
You
this
think-
point since the meeting in December. Just ask like, where are you guys at?
Where do you want us to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, just like, I don't know, just to even ask if they've done any work yet toward the finding of a space.
Right.
I don't know. What do you guys think? So Kevin sent the last one. Do you feel like we should have him push again, or do you feel like we should have someone else just sort of tap in?
I don't think it's a problem if someone else does it, but so I can send it, or Deep, who's she's been in contact with those. We might also include Melsina
Sorry, who?
White, who's
Oh yeah, of
Mary
course.
Pat's. I don't think we did that in the last email.
That would be good because she's
And
the one who's
because she manages all of,
scheduling.
she's the
Yeah,
secretary
yeah.
of Mary Pat, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
Mary
Yeah.
Pat does not check all her emails.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
absolutely, that might be the
Yeah.
best way to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way to do it is to sort of be like, oh, we just realized we forgot to include Melsina
Yeah.
on this, so we're resending to include
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then frequency and aggression is always the best way to get to these people.
Administration,
Yeah.
always aggressive. Okay. So once we get that meeting, hopefully we'll start choosing at least a temporary space. I think we were talking about, and I want to talk about this more when we get to Disability Pride Week. But if we get a temporary space by the end of March, then we can have that event, that like
In the
celebratory-esque event that Kevin proposed last week. That would be really, really cool. And I think
What if we don't get it by then? Do you feel like we should organize some other kind of
I think that we could organize a
rally
related
or like
event.
like not even like a, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you guys.
Maybe like I don't know, panel is a bit of like the wrong vibe.
Yeah.
Like I don't want, panel seems so subdued, like academic, but I want it to be more of like a social and kind of just very open event,
Yeah.
you know?
protest.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
So Gabby's here to talk about her activism project, and
Oh, okay.
so I don't know if you want to like hold off on disability pride week until we finish the task forces, or if you want to just switch gears and then we can come back.
Let's finish the task forces because I want to hear about
Okay,
that.
but she has an event in mind, just so that we
Yeah,
know that,
I
for
I'd love to hear about
disability
it.
pride week, which is why it's awesome that she's at an early meeting with y'all.
Fantastic.
Until we start cramming in like 10 people at a time.
Well, no, there will be. If all goes to plan, there should be like no more than 5 per meeting. So hopefully we'll be all right.
It's okay. I love having like everybody sitting on the windowsill.
I know, but
I
there
feel
was that one time
bored.
where we had like a 2.5 hour meeting, and I don't want to.
Oh
you guys.
yeah, that was intense.
I don't know if it was that long, but
It felt like it was pretty long. But
crushed. Yeah.
all right. So yeah, we'll follow up. I'll follow up then today, including us, ASL. So for the ASL task force, their Niall DeMarco event. Do you guys know does everyone know who Niall DeMarco is? Famous figure,
Oh yeah.
public figure. Was on Dancing with the Stars. That's all I know about him. But he's a big advocate for the deaf hard of hearing community and for just in general. He's very he's a great advocate for the disability community, I think. He does all these, I watch some YouTube videos of him, and he does all these interviews where he actively talks about his identity. And he is deaf himself. So anyways, he's coming in February 18th. Yes. I keep having to remind myself of that. He's coming the 18th. They're working out the space reservations for that. ASL, that is. Simran has been designated the person in ASL and also being on exec to work on additional accommodations to make the event as accessible as possible. For everybody who wasn't here last week, some of the things we mentioned, or that Bailey Vogel, who's the president of ASL Club this year, she was like, a lot of deaf and hard of hearing people unfortunately can't sign, or aren't used to signing. So we can include things like captioning, and because Dan was here, I thought of maybe audio description would be nice for those who are have visual impairments or are blind. So we, as GDA, could probably figure those out funding wise. I think that's probably okay because we've done it so many times, right?
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
The captioning, we were still debating.
Okay.
I don't know if someone's coming, but I'll discuss it with them more.
Yeah, basically, like once you have some sort of a plan, just let me know what exactly that you want, and then hopefully I can just go back to UCAE and get the extra funding for that. And if anything, we still have money in our account that we can draw from.
Great. And the thing is, I just don't want trouble like justifying stuff, quote unquote, justifying stuff with SOFC.
I know.
So
yeah,
that's like the real strategic part, unfortunately. But anyways.
It'll be good to have something to, especially like since I'm leaving training, training Hannah for how to strategize.
I love how we're planning ahead for this.
Yeah.
But I think those two accommodations are the main ones that I'm thinking of, and that Simon was thinking of as well.
Realistically, if you have to argue against justifying those accommodations, then you're just a straight asshole. So.
Well, we know how SOC can be, so yeah. Great. Oh, also I forgot to. Oh no, based on the relationship. Okay. And then finally, the curriculum task force. So I saw your message in the group, and you said you talked to the chancellor of the Health Humanities Lab.
A representative of the chancellor of Duke Health. So Gene Washington's representative, Rukmini Balu. Do you know like what her official?
Her title is?
Yeah.
It's just chief of staff.
Chief of staff?
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway,
that sounds important.
Yeah.
Like in the White House, that's a really important person.
It was a really important meeting.
It was hard to get everyone's schedules together.
Yeah, Cookies pulled together an amazing meeting.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we spoke about the future of the Health Humanities Lab and our efforts to institute a new curriculum in health, humanities, and disability studies, and how we want the future of the lab, the curriculum to be our number one goal. So we spoke about all of that and the funding that it would take to do that, in terms of, getting some bridge funding for the next year or two while we plan the curriculum and propose the curriculum and all that stuff. So I mentioned the survey that we did last semester, and shared that data with her, and she would really like us to present that to the chancellor and others in a couple of weeks. We haven't scheduled that yet.
Oh, okay. I was
kind of soon.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Kind of soon, yeah. Probably early February. And right now, our survey data is still kind of raw. Like, we have a question about what people's majors were, and everybody wrote it out long form.
Yeah.
So we just need to get that represented in a way that visually makes more sense.
We were
It's
planning on
biology, computer science, public policy.
Yes,
If we could just make a graph of that, because she was really interested in what people are majoring in, who would be interested in this program.
Okay. It's not
Yeah.
shouldn't be too crazy difficult. What was the total number of responses?
We had 203 at this point.
Okay.
And I don't know if we'll get a whole lot more. But so we just need to make a one sheet handout representing the data, the most important data. What's your major? Would you be supportive of this program? How would you engage with this program? Etc. We'll pick out which are the most important questions and just
we're gonna put in a graph. We can just
some of it's already in a graph.
We could just go especially the majors one. We could just dummy code it.
Yeah. So we just need to make a little handout and then maybe a PowerPoint presentation where
do we want
go through and talk about
the handout to be somewhat like the handout we used in our culture center stuff?
Yeah, it would be similar.
Like a short blurb.
Just really quick info to show how popular this would be. Because we have the data. We just need to present the data.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. It's exciting that she's excited. So it's just a little bit we got to do this now. Okay.
It's a bit. But we have. I think the hard part is we have the data.
We did this.
So that's
this
the hard
took
part.
all of last semester.
Yeah.
So so the hard part is hopefully over. It's just taking next steps. With it, so.
Is Allie and Brian and everybody else on the team on top of this? Or do they know about this?
Everybody's in the group me, so hopefully they're aware that we have to do it.
Okay.
Allie said that she would set a meeting soon. So
all right.
Talk to the students. Yeah.
Okay.
That's our update.
Cool.
That's
Want to talk about
exciting.
Disability Pride Week now?
Yeah, I'll talk about this pretty week.
Okay.
No, we're all itching to get on top of it. Gabby, why don't you start?
Yeah, so I'm Gabby. I'm a first year, and I'm the president of Bell Tower House Council. And so me and another student in another section of Dr. Q's class are planning for our activism project to maybe host an event in conjunction with the DDA on East Campus in Bell. Bell is a really accessible dorm. As far as I know, I definitely don't think it's
the ramp.
Well, they have classrooms in there, so at least the first floor has to be accessible.
We have classrooms and elevators and all that stuff. And then more than that too, we have just basically we have a lot of time and a decent amount of funding from now until Disability Pride Week to plan this event. It's kind of a rough idea at this point because Tyler and I have talked about it, but we haven't etched out all the details, and it'll get a little bit more fully formed by the time that she comes around to one of these meetings. But we were thinking just having an event for both first years and anyone who wants to come with the DDA, exposing first year students to the DDA and Duke Disability, because speaking for myself, I wasn't really, of course there was probably something like a Duke Disability Alliance on campus, but we weren't not a lot of awareness about it,
Yeah.
I think that was kind of, it was kind of our fault, but mostly O Week.
Yeah.
It was mostly Mr. Harris.
We were supposed to be a much bigger part of O Week.
Jordan Harris. Harris? Hale.
Yeah. There were some miscommunications because they scheduled a DEA event and didn't tell us.
Yeah,
that they scheduled an event for us to speak at. They were like, "Oh, we had an event for you guys last night. These are the people who came to it, but none of you guys were there." We were like, "You didn't communicate to any one of us. So it was a mess. But we had the event like a week and a half later. You know, we just repeated it, but
It was less.
so
But yes,
yeah.
I think this will
But
be
having an
a
event
great idea.
in March is another good way to. Yeah.
So what do you think? What kind of style in general?
So, not totally sure. I don't necessarily think that we want to maybe like do a panel because that might be like a little bit like too calm.
Right.
But like we were thinking, so as part of the activism project, you're supposed to kind of pair your discussion of like disability and stuff like that with another issue. So looking at that list, going through it, and maybe our faculty in residence is Dr. Lamb, who works in the gender, sexuality, and feminist department.
Oh,
So maybe possibly getting her involved. That's a little bit more iffy because she's pretty busy. But also maybe just having the event sort of be like pretty intersectional, talking about a specific topic, but also maybe interactive. So having like different stations, for example, where people can go around the room maybe and hear more about a certain topic in connection with disability. It's pretty rough at the moment, but we'll definitely get it way more sketched out. We have a meeting on Tuesday in Bell, usually at 6. So if anyone wants to come, maybe sometime in the future, let me know. It's actually at 6:15. So it's kind of the idea at the moment.
Cool. I really like the idea of it being sort of about intersectionality with gender sexuality stuff. And I wonder if there could be a way to merge energies around the cultural center and that being a space to celebrate identity and to talk about intersectionality.
and how's the CSGD?
Yeah, and how CSGD has one of those, but like I don't know, it's sort of like a way of talking about a disability cultural center as being of equal value to the community as something like the CSGD is for that community. The other cultural centers that do exist, and sort of like, I don't know, have an event that helps call visibility to the cultural center that we're trying to launch and like merge this
Show
kind
its
of
value.
energy into showing how it has value to these other communities as well. And it can be a sort of like intercultural, I don't know, does that make any sense? Like, cause I mean, in the sense that we're trying to draw attention to one of our biggest activist goals in launching a cultural center, and you have this energy behind wanting to organize an event and being interested in intersectionality and cultural issues.
We're
Like,
hosting an event sometime in February, I think the 19th. That's a panel, and that's going to involve Dr. Lamb, I think someone from the Mary Lou, and someone from the CSDG.
cool, yeah.
CSGD. Something. I always mix up the last 2 letters. And so maybe we could call back those people in March. More to figure out, but definitely I want the event to be focused on sort of helping the first years make connections to the DDA.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like there's a lack of awareness of it sometimes on these campus.
One thing so we have this, there's this event that we do during Rush, which is like, not the same, but it's called, we have a faculty dinner, and it's where we have like several faculty sit on their own at several tables, and then students will sit with them, and then after a while we'll rotate. And so if maybe you were thinking about some like rotating stations-esque kind of thing, we could do something of the sort where we all rotate and meet people, discuss a certain topic at a table, and that way I think we cover both the discussion of value of physical spaces and topics that we think may be important in discussing in this event, and also like this connection.
Very interactive.
Connection. It's more interactive.
Yeah.
And it feels, I don't know how we figure out the physical logistics of that though. It's just because, moving around and I don't know how big the room would be, but you know,
Mhm.
so I think that would be maybe a decent
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I feel like as you think about ways to market and promote, like you're gonna have to give it like a name, a name to the event and all that stuff. Like, how can we show the complexity of this, interactive and intercultural sort of experience that you're trying to create? Maybe structuring it around a question, like a simple question, something like, how do we build community, or something like that. And just like coming at that from different identity perspectives, and I don't know. I mean, just to have some way of tying everything together. And then you'd have different experts on that question from different places on campus helping to generate conversations. I don't know if you want to have like activities, games, etc., like to make it a sort of social while also being an educational event. It sounded like you didn't want it to be too much of like students being talked at by experts on a panel. And I definitely like that because I'm always just curious about ways that we can have events that offer more like networking and social opportunities as opposed to just the very tired formula of like lecturer, audience, and just like podium.
I definitely think we should avoid
Listen
something
and sit. Yeah.
listen and sit style.
God knows I've
Especially for this one because you want it to be
classes
fun
already.
and you want to call attention to the group in a way that like students might get excited about and just like find things to be
We should have food too.
enthusiastic about.
That brings
Yes.
people.
I'm on it.
We can definitely,
Kind of like having
definitely cover
power.
catering.
Oh, okay.
I'm not on it.
Depending on like your funds and stuff like that, like maybe we could do like 50-50. But in the
Sure.
past, we've done events where we've catered from like head buffs, for example, and that's
Oh, yeah.
been like pretty successful.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Food helps.
Food house. I think this is a great idea though. I'm glad that there's someone wanting to connect with the East Campus community,
Yeah.
aka all the freshmen.
Yeah.
It's like it's like right there, but it's just so hard to connect sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Maybe
might
because
also be able to figure out a way to make this not just like a Bell Tower specific event, but also an East Campus Council event.
Oh yeah.
The vice president in Bell, Josie, she's the East Campus Council
Josie
president.
Lee?
Josie Vonk.
Josie Bond. Okay. I was
Josie
about to-
Lee's in our class.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Josie, but she's come to a couple of meetings.
Yeah.
Josie, I don't know Josie, but
But yeah, so we can definitely make it more of like a bigger campus-wide event.
Cool. And since you're working with Tyler, she'll be coming to another meeting with ZDA later. So maybe like when she comes and you've got a little bit more of the details hammered down, we can talk through accessibility stuff with this group and just like figure out ways to make it an accessible event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what we're good at.
Yeah. Cool. So regarding the scheduling of this and other events during Disability Pride Week, I have a sort of some bad news in that
Oh, no.
it's okay, it'll be okay. I'm like coming to peace with it. But I realized yesterday morning that I have a conference.
Oh, I knew you were saying.
We're going to a conference that same week, and I was just like, I have been compartmentalizing my health humanities lab persona and my teacher/TDA persona
No.
and like not looking at those two calendars at the same time, and didn't realize I was going to be leaving for the Thursday and Friday. So yeah, but so as far as this goes, I'm like, what do I do? Should I move Disability Pride Week as a whole? And I feel like that just can't work with my class because then like they need a certain amount of time after Disability Pride Week to do the rest of the stuff that we have to do in the class to get to the end.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't move it. I'm just sort of thinking that the best way to do it is to have the student expo that I'm organizing
Earlier in the week.
be like that Wednesday night before I leave, or even push it to the Sunday. And I wanted to ask you guys like your opinions on that because like are Sunday events a thing that students would ever go to? Is that a thing that happens? I don't think I've ever been to one. Are
If
they
it's,
even
if it's not
allowed?
brunch with bottomless mimosas, then no.
So nobody's going to an event on a Sunday.
Where on campus?
Especially if it's a
You know you go on campus.
So Wednesday night is better than a Sunday night.
Yeah.
For a student next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably
Okay.
cheap to get a room reservation.
Yeah.
Just
Like, Sunday mornings
like
are usually reserved for nursing hangovers, and then Sunday nights are reserved for cramming all the
Cramming
homework
for the
you
week.
forgot.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, glad I brought it up.
I also
Yeah.
I'm leaving like Friday night.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe
right. And then for events, like if my students are doing events, like Gabby and Tyler are doing an event, I mean, ideally I want to be at it. I don't have to be at it. But if I'm
schedule.
at it, then I have a much better idea about how things went. So then for scheduling, we could do it the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or even the following week, the Monday or Tuesday, because
usually typically
Extended
do
time.
events on
Yeah.
like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
okay.
We have like
so,
a typical like rotated Mondays.
okay, so yeah, if that's okay with you, then that's just I'm gonna have to talk to my class about this on Monday, about how I sincerely messed up my scheduling and double booked myself big time. Yeah, I've never done this before, but yeah, it's just the wearing of multiple hats can sometimes create.
That's why I link all
Crisis,
my emails
so-
and everything together. So whoever like figures out my like 4-digit
Thing is
passcode
that
can access everything
I
about my
built
life.
my schedule for my class in a Word document,
Oh,
and
so it
like
wasn't in
that
your
wasn't
actual.
linked to my Google Calendar, and then I later was like,
I understand.
I was like, oh my
I
gosh,
totally
this is
empathize.
terrible. Yeah, but so yeah, it's a quick conference. I'll only be gone two nights, Thursday night, Friday night.
Where is
Yes.
Saturday night we're flying back. It's in Nashville.
We're not far,
That's
but
not-
Bring
wait.
DDA to Nashville. Yeah, I don't know.
we
Just
pay for
a-
everybody's flights.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Hello,
yeah, then
associate.
I'm gonna miss the full Friday of Disability Pride Week, which stinks. I'll do Accessibility Matters Day at Nashville.
Okay.
We will together take
That's
all
gonna
the
be hard,
accessible
'cause you're gonna
routes
be
on a
in, like-
campus that we don't know. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Bring back some
So-
hot wings.
so yeah, I'm gonna probably organize the student expo for probably the Wednesday night.
Okay, so if you think Wednesday
Yeah.
night is good for that, then we can plan on that.
And you guys can still do other events on the Thursday and the Friday. I just won't be there.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, I think Accessibility Matters Day later
It's
in
a
the week is
Thursday or a
you should,
Friday.
you should
usually.
always do it on a Thursday. Yeah, it's
on
always
a
been.
Thursday. Okay.
It's always been on a Thursday. I
It's
don't
great
have
that
to-
we have like DDA legacy.
history,
for
legacy.
this today.
Okay, well,
Unless have you moved it to coincide with
well, see,
something
we
else?
didn't do it last year because we had the huge conference
Yeah, I
instead,
did it.
the symposium. The year before that, I think it was on don't remember, but it was later in the week
I
for
think
sure.
it's always been the Thursday.
Okay, then Thursday it is.
I've always remembered it being on a Thursday, yeah.
For the sake of legacy and
That'll be
history.
fun for us navigating the airport. We'll be like, okay. It has to be
Well, I'll have my
accessible.
scooter, so
It's automatic.
It's automatic,
Yeah, we're automatically doing it. Okay.
Let's talk about scheduling if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Gabby, you're totally welcome to stay. You're also welcome to leave if you have things to do.
I can stay. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I can stay.
awesome.
Okay.
Actually, it's good that she stays because
Oh, right.
as we
I guess
pick
you have the event.
dates and times for our events, like she can book her event around.
Sorry, I'm
that.
so used to
So it's
like
not
people like
conflicting.
I remember last year. It was
Coming
like,
in and
okay,
leaving.
I have
Yeah.
to present and I have to
Leave.
go.
yeah.
So sorry, scheduling since we only have about 20 minutes left. So I met with Faith and Shreyas and Maddie here, including this too. We were all discussing about overall picture of Disability Pride Week. I never sent you that doc. I was hoping on. Oh, thank you, Trent.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget this is the point
I
where-
forget this.
It's so convenient. We were talking about how the overall structure would be, and I was thinking about an underlying like social media campaign that would be structured throughout the week, posts and such, and then advertising for our events and all. I guess the few things that we've said now, which is really helpful, is that the student X will probably be Wednesday night, hopefully on Wednesday night, and then Thursday, for the sake of
Like I said.
legacy, will be Accessibility Matters Day. The other events, so Faith, although she's not here today, she sent me a doc with things she's typed up, which is great. I can share it with anybody, but I can shoot some of the major things right now. The other events were like, such as a film screening. I think everybody was pretty open to that.
Yeah.
And sorry, getting something stuck in my throat. And then that potentially celebratory event for the space, which might be Gabby's event.
Yeah.
So
it could serve that purpose in addition to the purposes that she wants it.
okay, yeah. I mean, I think it would be fun to have multiple of those kinds of events, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like hers is geared toward freshmen. So if you guys wanted to also do another thing
On
for
the West,
other people,
and
it's open.
I mean,
Accessible Rager.
Yeah. I would love my event to like span all
Mhm.
years.
That'd be
and It would
wonderful.
just be on East Campus.
Yeah.
Which is
Because
Why?
you're Bell Tower resident. Yeah, that's how we're doing it. That makes sense.
I mean, that is a space you have access to. So.
Yeah.
it's pretty accessible too.
Yeah, I've been there. It's
Yeah.
it's one of the nicer dorms.
Hotel Bell.
It was Hotel Bell, and then
That's
Trinity
true.
came in and it was like a mansion. It was like
You're like, oh, plebs.
It's funny because I only go in there. I teach classes in there sometimes.
Oh, you do?
It's funny that they have classrooms in a dorm because sometimes students just like
They have
roll in
classrooms
their
in, like-
pajamas and they're like, yeah, I'm
Oh.
outside
I
today.
wanted to take I wanted to take my Ready 101 in Bell. By the time I registered, it was totally full.
It's like
Yeah,
a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Writing 101 is always the hardest class to get into.
I mean, speaking of Trinity, our AC shut off today. We haven't had AC for
No, AC. It's like
AC.
Oh, and on this
hot
on
on your-
this
on your
60
full-size
degree,
beds in your movie theater.
and it's 65-degree weather.
I don't complain about this. Yeah, I lived in Randolph. They were like the size of prison cells.
Randolph has a really good community though.
I've heard. My year was but
A lot
Jay's
of-
dorm was in Randolph. It was really big because he had the accessible like,
Ah.
yeah,
suite.
he did
It
have the
was-
accessible suite.
I was in
Nice.
Jarvis, and I had a single, so I only cared about that.
Oh my gosh.
I've
It
heard,
wasn't that bad.
I've heard,
If you just lower,
It's like,
no, that's Epworth. Epworth had the roaches my year.
I totally got this off
Roaches in Jarvis.
This
Yes.
year, oh.
a lot.
I saw them.
If you just lower your standards,
I want
It's the South. You're gonna get roaches.
yeah.
Not in Bell.
Oh,
I want to read some
Fancy.
things off that
Uh-huh.
Faith has typed up. I think some really well organized.
Uh-huh.
I'll just read it off the general section. So, Disability Pride Week is an annual event used to promote visibility and mainstream awareness of the positive pride felt by people with disabilities within our community. It marks a break from traditional concepts of disabilities as shameful, which were often hidden from public spaces and mainstream awareness. That's a blurb that she typed up.
That's good.
It's really concise.
Yeah.
that was like
That is
2
what I could have
sentences.
done.
Theme. So here's some bullet points. Themes to go along with Disability Pride Week this year that we want to theme our posts and events around. Breaking the stigma, disabled and proud, and breaking the concept of shame around disability. We want to do celebrating people who have done great things in their own respective fields and who have disabilities and maybe celebrate their disabilities in their work. And she says we want to talk about Accessibility Matters Day, and I mean, assuming that implies like why we're doing Accessibility Matters Day and stuff. So I think there's a lot
yeah.
behind Accessibility Matters Day that we can talk about. It's it's brilliant. It was my favorite thing of Disability Pride Week, actually. And then there's some logistics about advertising. And then I think so on the topic of scheduling, so I'll skip advertising for now because that's like among.
Can you tell me what document you're reading off of?
Oh, I haven't shared it with.
Oh,
So I can share it with y'all now.
Wait, if it's on a Thursday,
if you just copy paste it into the agenda notes, maybe.
Yes,
Bottom?
I will do that. My mouse pad is really hard. I got it.
Accessibility Matters Day is on a Thursday, and I have a class in Old Chem.
Oh, good luck.
Oh,
You know, my sophomore year, one of my friends on the Quidditch team, after a tournament, he sprained his ankles on crutches. And while I was walking away from work and I ran into him going to Old Chem, I carried him down the stairs in Old Chem
That actually isn't.
on my back. But he's 6'2", and I'm not.
No, no,
Yeah, through the alley in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that.
Which is why I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh.
And like that's where all like I go through there and like construction workers are like smoking over there. I'm just like, this is like so shady. Like
There was
and
one.
it's like people like hanging around, like kind of like lounging around in that back alley. I was like, whoa! I just came out of class.
That might be a good building to do the Kathy McMahon Klosterman approved event, which was the caution tape that you just put around the door.
Oh
But you're not
yeah.
actually blocking the door, but it looks like it's blocked,
You're
and then
just
just
taping over
you
the door.
stand there and you have a little handout and you go, "I welcome you to find the accessible entrance to this building."
Oh.
And they think you're blocking their way.
We could do that during
Really not.
Accessibility Matters Day.
Yeah, but you're just educating people in a kind of aggressive way about
I think aggression
about
is
segregation.
You can get away with
Yeah.
anything if you wear a safety vest. So theoretically,
Hi, Vince.
yeah. So I can do it.
I'm so down to do this for
That
like
could
all
be
the
part
time.
of Accessibility Matters Day if people are willing to
I would
sign up
love
for shifts.
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Like get a couple of neon like say official looking safety I can acquire some hard hats from places and
Why is everything always so shady?
and then yeah, we could just look legitimate while blocking the door and have force people to go take the accessible route. And then but we don't want to handle the flyer because it
It
gives
would
away
just
the
be
illusion.
like, this is why accessibility is
Right.
important. and
No,
just bullet
no. We force them to. We hand them the flyer when they reach the accessible point because if you hand it to them when they're at the front, then they know it's a facade.
Wait, you
But so you're actually forcing.
trick people.
Yes, I can. That's what I have the safety vest for.
It's gonna-
People would just kind of go in anyway. They'd be like,
They
That's
might
why I had to tape it. That's why I had to tape it off.
Kathy said that when they did it at Miami, that
It was
people like were really angry and like,
Yeah.
how dare you? And they didn't check if the door was actually blocked.
how
They just-
dare you? Yeah,
They're like, I'm late for a meeting.
Well, it sucks to
And you're
suck.
like,
it's
well,
like what if all the other
It's
people who were
kind
late
of the
didn't
point.
need to take the
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why like if in order so basically I don't care if they're angry, but like we can't give away the facade just yet, or else they don't learn. So you have by handing them the flyers.
Yes.
I mean, also anger makes it more memorable. Like
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. That's why no one
Let's stir them up.
that's why no one forgets me after talking to me.
So sorry, we really gotta talk about schedule.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we got the film screaming and the hotel bell rager. And
I like it. Bell Rager.
yeah.
That's what he's written.
Accessibility matters in already.
Accessibility Matters Day Thursday.
Thursday, Wednesday's the student expo. So we got Monday, Tuesday, which I think was what we wanted to do the rager for. I'm just gonna call it that.
That's fine. You
and-
know what?
And then the film screening can slide into Tuesday or Friday because I doubt people might want to come out on a weekend. Or maybe a Saturday.
I would say Tuesday.
Tuesday film screening and then do yours on Monday.
I think so. Okay, so
Okay.
what day would that be?
I think starting with the film screening is a bit
23rd.
weird.
So
Yeah.
we start with the event.
But again, I think starting is really going to be with publicizing and
And you want to have
social media.
sort of separately that social media campaign going on, and that's related to Accessibility Matters Day.
That
it could be related to more than. I guess it could be like a build up to accessibility
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
And maybe it gets
Yeah.
more and more relevant as you get closer to Thursday.
Yeah, because if you prolong it too long, then people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
care about it. So 3 days is like a good day to build it up.
And since Accessibility Matters Day, like spreading the word about that is a lot of like one-on-one conversations with tabling in the Bryan Center.
Yeah.
Usually,
What was the frat that
I
did
feel
it
like
like 2
I
years
feel
ago?
like it's important to get
Yeah.
people to sign up for shifts to table
So I'm going to send that out.
like early because you want them to like if we're doing it 2 weeks before, everybody's gonna be like, I can't. But if you do it now when they haven't booked themselves up yet, people will be like, okay, I'm gonna bank 2 hours
Yeah.
on Monday, 2 hours on Tuesday, whatever people can do.
Right.
I don't know how many people we're gonna get to help us table.
I'm hoping we can get some
All of
of our
exec, but then
all of us and then some of our allies, maybe
ally groups, yes.
ally groups, because I think
Totally. So we should do the reaching out
Now.
yeah.
like now. It's like the first most important thing.
Yes, that's. I was gonna say like maybe classes, but I don't think so. I think probably not. But yes, tabling for shit. You really need to. Oh yeah, okay. So I'll make a Excel spreadsheet for that, and So I think film screening on Tuesday would be good. I was just thinking film screening starting it off is a bit. I want something more active to start things off, like the Ranger, which is what.
I feel like that's great. That's a really good kickoff event.
Yeah, and it's getting all the youngsters
And we can advertise it if we've got people tabling through Monday. We can advertise it that whole day. Like, come to Bell Tower tonight.
We can advertise.
schedule.
Yeah, if we table Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we can advertise our events.
Yeah.
With our daily events too, in addition to accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think? And last meeting I was at 2 weeks ago, we also said that if the ally groups also had their own ideas for events, that we could also reach out to them because we got these days that could be filled.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
yeah. So, but like we don't have to be the ones like thinking up everything. If they've got something very
I would say
specific
it's
that they
good
want
to hold like Friday, like hold some time open because like I'm probably gonna have other students who want to do little events.
Oh, I see.
Oh, cool.
You know, like I'm just thinking about
Well,
the Disability Pride Week I did in 2017.
That was good.
Right? Do you remember that day where we had like 3 events in a row on
Yeah.
Friday?
I remember.
They attracted different audiences.
Really?
Insert events here.
Well, because you had the expo the same
There was the expo on the Friday
Right.
night.
on the Friday night, but then you
And
also
then-
had like
There was the Quaker meeting.
Quaker meeting. That was really cool.
A Quaker style meeting where like in Quaker worship they have a different approach. Everyone just kind of comes to the space and you sit in silence and you think about I don't know if it like she had like a certain topic for people to think about and people just speak when they're called upon to speak.
that's
And
so cool.
it was cool, yeah, and it wasn't necessarily religious. It was just structured after that.
I see. Okay.
Everybody talked about accessibility and disability culture and Duke's culture, and it was awesome. And then we had another one of my students did a series of paintings, and she wanted to lecture about them. So then we had that right after in the same room. Different people came for that, and then we moved downstairs for the expo. And I actually want to talk about where to locate the expo.
It was in Smith, right?
It was in Smith last time, but it was in this building the time before that. And I wanted to talk about that with you guys because if we do it on the Wednesday, my class will be on West Campus that day we're going to the Rubenstein for the History of Medicine collection. So we'll be in Rubenstein, and if it's like right after class, it might be easier to have it on West
Yeah.
than to have it at Smith.
Yeah.
So-
Smith is I was about to say.
And the added benefit of the foot traffic coming through here, people come into this building to get their food.
Right.
So a lot of people who didn't plan on coming to the expo will be like, what's this? And they'll check out a couple of projects and they'll learn something and then they'll go have their dinner. And
That
so you
sounds
get
ideal.
you
Yeah.
get more visibility. So I'm thinking
What
about
time is
maybe
your class?
it ends at 6.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
PM.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like no other students are gonna be.
So like if we started the event at like 6:30 or something, just to give I
Dinner
know it's
time,
a
yeah.
half hour time for setup might not even be enough, but 6:37 start time, I don't know.
Well,
Students could go like
we'll
but
see.
I want there to be food at the event too.
Yeah.
So like we can all like get dinner.
if anything, it could be like surprise. You don't have to pay for dinner.
Yeah.
DDA's covered it.
Take my Duke card.
God. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The time I did it in this building, we didn't have it catered. So it wasn't
Right.
like we just had tons of passersby being like, oh, free food. Like, so I'm actually a little bit concerned about that because like I want like people who are actively participating to have like first dibs on food rather than the passersby
Yeah.
We can always do
grabbing
like
food and not
Penn
even seeing
Pavilion.
anything. Like,
Penn Pavilion's pretty.
If we're gonna do Penn Pavilion, we're gonna have to book it now.
yeah.
That's true. Penn is
So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm curious to think what my own student thinks. Obviously, I can talk to this with you guys as a class on Monday as
I
well. But
I don't know if there's a space. I mean, I don't know how big the expo is. I don't know of a space. big
24
enough-
students. Yeah.
24 students with 20. I mean, my project obviously won't be in
So yeah,
so
you'll be there to be like, this is what we did.
yeah. But I think I don't know if there's a space in West Union big enough to accommodate that, and especially if you
Did it with 36 projects.
Wow.
3 years
It
ago.
was all in that.
What?
All in the corner, like
Downstairs. You know
downstairs,
the
like
downstairs, like you enter
just
from
fully
bus
in the
stop.
lobby.
Right in the alcove. Yep. Or
In like
Oh.
It was a little
atrium.
crowded.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people, we had tables set up and a lot of people had digital projects. So they just like had their laptop and like a little card on the table with like the name of their project. And then they were like talking about it and showing people
Okay.
whatever it was. So they take up exactly this much space. And then some people had easels with like posters on them and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it can work.
That could be
It's,
cool.
it's a little bit smaller than Smith Warehouse, but Smith Warehouse is like, it's really out of the way. And the only people who come are the people who came on purpose
Yeah.
to see that event. So
Yeah.
it might be better to do it on
This would
West.
be, I definitely think doing it on West would be better than Smith.
Yeah.
I just don't, like, I think West Union would be really cool, just because of the foot traffic.
Yeah.
But I think you also have to be, like, careful about, like, people who just kind of, like, walk through, don't even pay attention and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
They just call them
Yeah.
up. Like,
It's sort of like they're like, I don't know what I just
Stop.
walked in on.
you.
Yeah.
Sure.
One of the like good ways to do is if you do get catered food to like put the catered food in a spot that you kind of have to go through all these different
Right,
projects
exactly.
to get to.
It's just about the setup. It's sort of like
It's like
you
IKEA.
can't have this unless
Yeah.
you are going to be here for at least 20 minutes and check out some projects. Yeah.
Where,
I
like,
mean, maybe
you
we could
to
have
walk
someone like
through.
guarding the food and be like, what did you think of the projects before you take our.
It sounds kind of like I feel like
You can bribe
what
them,
is
like
it?
give them a little. It's like a little like buyer.
Oh, a stamp.
like a little,
It's
little
12
stamp.
stations and
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because I went to Quickly's last night and I just finished another one of those boba cards. And I'm like, yo, wait a second, when did we do that?
You could do
I mean,
that.
I want at least my students to be fed
Yeah.
for free.
We'll
And,
definitely
like,
have
DAs
things.
and people who are helping with the
Yeah.
event to be
Right.
fed.
And then like anyone else would be like, oh,
Some-
here,
yeah.
there's 12. You need 12 little clicks on your card, and then now you
Oh, a
can get the
little-
food.
Like a
Yeah.
whole
A little
Oh, the
hole
shape.
punch
Yeah.
thing. That could be so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an idea.
It's so funny because they have to listen to the entire spiel, I guess. And
get
then it's
the-
like they're just like staring at the
The
hole
hole.
puncher the entire time.
Yeah.
Puncher. Oh my god. That actually.
Well, there's 24 students, so 24
You only need to listen to half.
I feel like listen to 10. It's like
Yeah.
12.
I'd say like 7 or 6.
Seven.
As long as you listen to like a quarter of the project.
Yeah. No,
Six
In its
see all the
entirety.
stuff. Yeah.
6 is fine.
Okay.
6.
I mean, that would solve the problem of like foot traffic, passerbys stealing, or
Yeah.
You know.
Like we've got the food, and then we just like collect your ticket.
You could make like little business cards for like DDA's logo, like whatever logo you have for Pride Week, and then use that business card as like a whole
Mhm.
bunch.
oh yeah,
I kind of feel like I should let one of my students. I should let it be their activism project to just help me. To just
To help
me
you.
this week. Yeah, with this main like organizing the actual expo. Does that count as an activism project? Just because there's gonna be all these little tasks.
Oh
involved,
wait, I can.
And I don't know how much of it I want to dump on DDA people and how much of it I can do. I mean, I can obviously do as much as I can do.
Oh, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm
We're
just
not
thinking.
new,
I can
so-
probably use
Yeah.
use the logo and make stamps for the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can make stamps using the logo.
Cool.
Yeah.
You always have like these like
Yeah.
really ingenious
Or,
ways of like
unless
making
it's like
things
I had like
that
a
save the day.
notepad.
Try to make these really cool like
Yeah.
volunteer
Go through all-
buttons for
Yeah, I
the
can show. I can
conference
show it
last
to.
year.
to-
And then if it
for
No, I laser
Okay.
cut them.
Yeah.
Go to
would.
the
can.
or like
Okay, well, I had
kind
to
of like the arts annex and like
yeah, she's gonna
free
say
artistic
you
supplies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We actually did an event last semester with Duke Create.
And then Sunday is accessible brunch.
accessible brunch.
Accessible
With
brunch.
bottomless.
With bottomless mimosas.
Oh my!
Mocktail mimosas.
Accessible mimosas.
Accessible mimosas. Oh my. Okay. Well,
I'm not an alcoholic.
Shreyas had some things to add
Okay.
too, because we had a little meeting amongst ourselves.
Okay, cool.
But he will put it on the agenda
Mhm.
for us to read. Gabby, if you want access to the agenda, let me know.
I actually got it. She's sharing
Oh.
with me.
Wow, on top of that.
On top of it, yeah.
But everybody else,
Gabrielle,
Yeah.
cookies,
She's
if
Gabrielle
you might have access to our Google Drive.
I don't
If-
think I do actually.
If you really want, if you want it and or feel find you need it, just
Yes, Marion's got it.
yeah.
I'll share.
Okay. Thank you everybody for coming.
Cool.
Thank you for
So
everybody.
basically, this is the tentative schedule right now.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Next week, same time, same place. I think by next week, I'd like to have some of these logistics nailed down. I'll work it out amongst exec. So
I'll
and
try
then-
to make it my goal for this week to talk to the people downstairs about how to reserve the space in
Okay,
this building.
yeah. And will more of your students be coming next week, Dr. Q?
Yep, we'll have 4 or 5
Great.
I'm talking
All
to
that.
And can we
And
get
please come on
somebody
outside.
to contact the other ally organizations to see if they want to fill up one of those days with their own organizations?
Let's let them come to us, or like, I don't know, have we already talked to them about
Not
facility planning?
yet.
No.
Okay, so
Um,
maybe an email to the leaders of the groups.
Yeah, be
on
like,
our
just go to like
list. I can do
ASL
that.
club, for
You
example.
wanna do that?
Yeah, like go to ASL and say, hey, look, we've got these days that that are open to some sort of collaborative events. Do you have any ideas, and do you want to be part of this as a whole? Because ultimately, as our organization,
Right, and tell them they can also work with my students. if,
exactly.
You know, if
Yeah.
my students want their activism projects to be events.
Like we've got so many different
I
related
feel like a lot of people aren't
organizations
gonna do
over here
events,
that we
but
can't.
A lot of people.
Yeah, we
like
shouldn't.
want
We
to.
shouldn't need to be able to bear the basically do
Most people want to
everything.
do
Yeah.
digital stuff for the
Okay.
class, but
Yeah, I mean, we can overbook on it, or like not the same time, but we can have 2 events in it.
No, obviously.
and it'll just be geared toward different audiences.
Exactly.
If that's the case, we've done that in the past. It's just a way to make
Like for
it
example,
more
there was nothing on
people.
Friday. What if on Friday ASL decides to do like the basics of sign language kind of?
Are we doing the film screening on Tuesday?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do something before the film, or like after. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabrielle, for taking all the great notes. It's like you got everything.
She's right about me.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Thanks, Nick.
I'm a bit concerned.
With the mimosa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I call her Gabrielle and I call you Gabby. She introduced herself as in class, so.
And you're with that. But like my full name is Gabrielle. Only like my dad calls me that.
Yeah, when
Oh my God.
when you were here and then she sat next to you, I was immediately thinking of like that Star Wars from episode 1, which is like, this is getting out of hand. Now there's 2 of them.
Thanks for coming, Gabby. Thanks for coming in.
Simon, you know that Simon is also coming to the conference with us, right?
I know.
Simran, why are you an activist?
There was nothing
Oh.
to do. I honestly was like there was a point in time where I was thinking about having Disability
I
Friday
need it.
March 30th through April 4th or whatever. That would have worked with the conference,
All right,
but like
we
it
got
didn't work with my class schedule.
Those of us who are here will hold the fort. Yeah.
I can't. I'm gonna go on Amazon and go get those safety vests.
Oh. Wait, actually though, you can probably steal them somewhere.
Actually, I really
Steal
could.
them?
I already stole a cone from Tire View.
Oh my.
My idea was to.
Wait, like from Tower View when they
Yeah,
back up
yeah,
the road?
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
you can steal that thing.
Gabrielle and Maggie, I sent you guys on Facebook.
That's the word boot on it.
The DA's pages.
The reason why I wanted it is
Because I
because
was like,
if I
I don't
find
know
a
how to do
blue
this
zone
anymore.
spot that I'm leaving,
Yeah.
then I just put the cone
That was
on the
from
spot
Dan.
and then just
Wait.
give it to
Timeline,
myself.
whatever.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, that's such a hack. You can't do that.
of course it's a hack. That's why I'm doing it.
It would be funny to put a cone in front of the door though too.
Oh no, I was saying that I took the cone from the
So do you
tower
wanna
view,
look
so that way that
downstairs
if I have a
at
blue
space?
zone spot that I want to keep.
Oh, is that for your part?
Yeah, so I'll put the cone in the parking spot so that people think there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I just go.
One of my friends does that too. She has a collection
Yeah,
of
I'll
like
have this
10
back. It's gonna be nice
cones
to
that
know
she's
what
gotten
you
from
are.
areas, and she like blocks off her parking.
Okay.
It'll be
Yeah,
that
me and my
much
friends have
easier,
done
but
a lot
still
of stupid
harder
things
than
with cones. Like in
when I
Miami,
don't
when
do
there's
the
a bunch of
activity
construction